Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Friday morning edition of the Moose Minute Project. Yeah, it is just after 7 o'clock here in southern Wisconsin. So, sun is just starting to come up, and it's going to be a clear sky for a while. They're talking tonight and tomorrow, freezing rain, drizzle, slush, all the fun stuff. It must be traveling bowling tournament time. I'm not bowling tomorrow. Haven't felt good all week. Starting to feel good. My wife's not feeling well. Just cold season. Of course, when it's negative temperatures and wind chills are in the minus 10s to whatever it may be. It's currently 3 degrees surrounding the Silverado studios. So yeah, it is what it is when it's this time of year. Making sure you're staying hydrated and Zycam on hand, the Dayquil, NyQuil. It's that season in Wisconsin. So we haven't had a real true cold snap yet to kill all the other lovely airborne crap. But that's where it is. Welcome to the Moose Minute Project. I appreciate everybody that tunes in and listens and goes on and gives me input on what they hear. Titled today, It's Time to Be Truthful. You shouldn't have to have where it's a time to be truthful, but unfortunately, many people are not. They want to talk behind your back. They want to talk around corners, get people on their side. And, it happens in politics. It happens in, friendships, whatever it may be. If you have friends that do that, there's no point in being part of that. Talking behind backs and doing all that stuff. We're not in high school. We're not in junior high. We are all in our 40s, 50s. Even if you're younger than that, just remember it's time to be truthful. If people are negative in your life and people are saying the things that they're saying, it's time to move on. And if you can't say things to people's face, being respectful. That's the key one. You need to be honest and be respectful of your honest opinion. There's nothing worse than hearing things of, and it could be just rumors or it could be just people drinking, whatever it may be. But if people want to continue, it's quite crazy. Just be honest with people. You know what? If you're worried about what other people are saying about you, most likely a lot of it may be true. If you're worried about how you look in society, you might want to look at your past behaviors. You may want to look at what caused those feelings and then if you try to put it on the other person, that is where the problem begins. Admit your faults, admit what you did. I signed up another team yesterday to Mom's tournament that'll be held November 8th, 2025. Those that bowled in the tournament last week, if you message me and say, hey, Chris, here's what I'm thinking, here's what I'd like to see, I'm open to it. I'm open to hearing, I'm open to listening. I already listened to part of it. It will be a double elimination tournament, a true double elimination. I thought I was doing good things when I moved it to a consolation bracket. When Greg and I came to a number that I was going to pay the bowling alley, instead of taking that money, because I'd already posted it, I extended it. I extended it out to pay more places, to pay more teams. Yes, it wasn't their complete entry fee, but they got some money back. I've always felt that if I made the cut at a tournament, say to the top 10, there should be something there. Maybe not. So unfortunately for Marcy's, the second annual, I'm taking the top 8. I am still only going to pay down the top 7. That's how I feel I'm going to be at it anyway. I'm not sure. I haven't figured that all out yet. You know, that's the thing with this tournament is I'm listening to people and I'm posting the general rules to get feedback. Somebody labeled it as a tournament director. I guess that's what I am with this one. I've been part of a lot of tournaments through college, through high school, through local here, or just traveling wise. There's a lot of things that I see in the traveling tournaments that I don't agree with. I'm not going to continue on that road. I'm not bowling in them. I feel that they're poorly ran to a certain extent because I think every bowling alley has a different agenda of what they want out of the traveling tournament. I had this discussion last night with just lane conditions anymore. The lane conditions these days has everybody spoiled. And there's just a fact to that. You have to have a house shot that people are averaging 210, 215, when they're not that caliber of bowler. Last night I averaged 203 with 10 opens. The 10 opens part is all on me. They were all single pins. They were all, except for 2 splits. I had 2 splits too, but they were all just poorly executed shots. The first ball was great. I threw the ball last night the best I've thrown all year. My strike percentage proved it, but then my spares percentage proved that the second shot was the problem. But I've said it time and time again. I've been a 199 to 200 average bowler my whole life. That's where I've been. And I'm not a 225, 226 guy. But when you go to these traveling tournaments and you see your house bowlers that are averaging 210, 225, and then they're barely hitting 6, you have to ask yourself a few questions. As far as adjustments, speed, ball speed, there's a couple guys that I really trust with talking about this, and they've bowled a lot. And I've bowled a lot. And if you can't adjust and you get pissed off because you're not averaging your 215, your 220 traveling, go to more tournaments. Do your regular average. Find your true average. And I think you'd be shocked. The house shot is where it is now because they've got to keep bowlers. They want to make bowlers happy. I find it insulted to a certain extent. I mean, the shot is, I feel, pretty cakewalk in the most in general term. I miss the old lanes, I guess. I miss the bug sprayer. I miss the wiping across. Yeah. You didn't have a 300 or 4 300s every year, or a bunch of 279s. You had true bowlers, though. So it brings me back to life in general. Is if you expect life to just be like that house shot where it is going to be a cakewalk or it doesn't take much effort to succeed, you're in for a long road. You're in for a long, aggravating road. And if you get pissed off and you throw your tantrums, that's on you. And when people call you out on it, you should be ready for it. I mean, if people call me out on how this tournament was ran, they can do that. I'll feel free to do it. Please feel free to message me and say, hey, Chris, this is what I saw, and tell me. I'd be gladly to listen, and I'd gladly sit down with you. I put this together on my own. I did this for the memory of my mom, and I think it went well. But I don't know if it went well until I get feedback. But standing in little corners and everything else or coming up to me and swearing at me doesn't work. And I'm just going to call you out on it and be done with it. But in life, in general, it's time to be truthful. There's guys that I respect immensely that they are not in the gray area. They are black and white. If you respect them, they respect you. If you treat you good, they treat you good. That's how it should be. And you should be able to tell them, hey, you know, like my good friend Honker, I've told him numerous times when I've had a bad experience or a good experience, I tell him. And he's okay with it. He wants to hear it. But for you to go around and say things about businesses or whatever it may be, it goes into law enforcement. You know, if you're going to be the guy that stands behind an anonymous post and rips on people, piss off. You know, you put your name on it. Put your stamp on it saying this is how I feel. I struggle with where people are calling everything either the whole F news, fake news, whatever kind of shit anymore. It's all BS. Yeah, there are reports. I mean, Fox is no different. I look at their news report. They're not news reporters anymore. It's entertainment factor. They're no different than Stephen Colbert or Jimmy Fallon, whoever. They're doing it for entertainment. They're not doing it for news reporting. True news reporting would be the shit that's going on that's truthful and happening. So people in your life, keep them around if they're respectful and they're honest and they're truthful, because those are the hard ones to find. Those that are not, those that have to have it their way, or it's the high. See you later. Have fun walking. See ya. I don't need you around. I don't want it around. I don't need the negativity. I don't need all of that in my life. I'm struggling enough with the damage from my stroke, and everybody's like, Chris, that was 7 years ago. You got to get over. It's hard to get over when it's permanent damage. Okay. I'm way ahead of where I was, but there's permanent damage there. I still get overwhelmed. I still get emotionally tied to a lot of things. And if you've never gone through that, you don't understand. If you've never had to live that way, you don't understand. You know, it's kind of like if you've never had a loved one have Alzheimer's, I don't know how to describe it to you. I try to the best I can. You know, watching mom deteriorate as fast as she did was the worst thing I've gone through. And I've said it before, my grand mal seizure, I would take my stroke again over a grand mal seizure just because of the pain and everything else that I had with the grand mal after tightening up and seizing. It was a kick-ass thing. And so there it is. So remember what somebody's battling. Remember the war they're going through personally. And be respectful. You know, I look at so many hateful comments online. It doesn't matter about what, who, when, where. People are just hateful because that attracts, misery attracts company. And they want people to be involved. So, signed up another team yesterday. So I've got one opening for my mom's tournament already in a year from now. I mean, it's less than a year now, but it's 10 months. So looking forward to that. Got already some great prizes with it. Talked to some great people last night. Again, if you are hearing negative comments about my tournament, message me. Let me know. I'll fix it, or if I can fix it, I'll try to do it. But I'm not changing rules. I'm not going to bend anymore. I'm not doing that. I got the rules set. It's going to be double elimination. High average, 880 for 4 guys, so that's 220 apiece. That's pretty much where it's at. You know, and I find that the low handicap people that came into our tournament had a hell of a lot of fun. They enjoyed it a ton. So that's where I'm at. I'm frustrated. I'm a little irritated. But that's okay. The goal was to raise money for Alzheimer's awareness, and that worked. And it was because of 50 sponsors, 48 bowlers, and my family that made that all work. So, again, if you got issues with people, tell them. We shouldn't have this, well, I just put up with it because he is who he is. No, that's not right. Don't do it then. And maybe it's if you're a business owner, you have to do a little bit more of it because it's your business and you don't need negativity based around that way. But it is what it is. And when you're called down on it, don't be surprised. And if you do shitty shit, don't be surprised if other people talk about you. So, and don't have to say, oh, if none of you like it, well, you can all go to hell. Well, yeah. Most people aren't going to like it if you do shitty shit. That's just what it is. And if you get on somebody's side and you're not respectful and they treat you like shit, figure it out. Understand that it's not the person that's treating you bad. What'd you do to make that person treat you bad? So that's where I'm at today with the Moose Minute Project. It's time to be truthful. And that's just the facts. It is time to be truthful. Have a great day. Thank you for tuning in today. Take time to bless somebody with the holiday seasons coming up. Take time to be somebody else's light as they are probably sitting near the edge of darkness right now. The holiday season's always rough. This will be the first Christmas without my mom. The next day, it'll be the first time I celebrated. Her birthday. She won't be here. So her birthday was always special the day after Christmas. And needless to say, this year is going to be probably pretty rough on me. But we'll get through it. And I'll honor her in some form. And by that, it'll be November 8th of 2025 when I have my second tournament. So a lot to learn by then, a lot to get in place. And yeah. And if anybody wants me to promote their business, do whatever, get a hold of me. I'll recut ads. I'll do any of that. I'm pretty familiar with the radio. I'm pretty good with all of that. So that's where we'll be. Talk to you all later. Have a great day. And we'll see you Monday morning with another edition of the Moose Minute Project. And again, as always, take time to bless somebody today.